Today I'm working on a Troy-Bilt box store lawnmower. This was being thrown away. I have no idea what's wrong with it. I'll take you through the process of diagnosing and repairing it. This machine is powered by the late model, very inexpensively built Briggs & Stratton engine. It's been sitting a long time. When ordering parts for a machine like this, reference the decal that contains that 12A or 13A model number. There's a build date on the back of the engine. This machine was built in March of 2009. When ordering parts for the engine, reference the engine number on this particular style of Briggs engine. It's on this steel plate located above the muffler. This machine has something called their Select Speed transmission. It'll be interesting to see what that's all about. It's got this fancy lever up top. Maybe it's 2 or 3 speeds. I have no idea yet. It's also got this sweet system of deck height adjustment with just one handle raising the entire machine up. It's nice to see a clean underside. That is not a good sign. Maybe there's a reason why it was being thrown away, huh? It's got engine oil. I don't think it's seized. I've used a pair of curved jaw vice grips to clamp the control handles up at the top of the handlebar. So the engine brake is off and the transmission is currently engaged. So I want to see if I can just sort of rock this thing back and forth. There we are. A word of caution when doing this, you could actually start the lawnmower. That's not going to happen here because obviously this doesn't run, but don't be spinning blades on lawnmowers that are fixed crankshaft straight through to the blade, because you're actually spinning the engine, and if it were to get spark and fuel at that time, you'd have a blade running in your face. Extremely dangerous. Alright, with the engine rotating, let's take a peek at a few other things on it, put some fuel in it, and try to start it. A well-used air filter. Only use carburetor cleaner for your starting fluid. Starting fluid is too explosive and will damage an engine. Okay, time to take a look at the carburetor. I was able to test run the engine a few more times using carburetor cleaner sprayed down the intake for the carb, and the engine runs fine. So I'm going to take the bowl off and see what that looks like inside. Judge whether or not I can potentially clean this carburetor or it just needs to be replaced. A 1/2-inch box end wrench will grab the bowl nut. You can take one finger and press the box end wrench against that little nut that's there. It's the carburetor main jet, and it's brass, so be careful with it. That doesn't look very hopeful. So that's the main jet in there. That's what feeds the carburetor, and the carburetor takes its fuel through holes in the side of this, which, as you can see, completely sludged up with rotting ethanol-based fuel. These can usually be cleaned out because it's brass, so you can run wire through them and they'll get pretty happy. The problem is that the aluminum and metal in the rest of the carburetor is going to be in terrible condition if that's what this brass looks like. So this carburetor, I think, will be shot. but we'll take it off. See if we can get the bowl to sort of unsnap itself. There is a rubber gasket here that you want to be careful with if you're going to be saving the carburetor. So I'm going to rock it back and forth and see if it won't let go of that rubber gasket. Oh yeah. Been sitting for a long time with fuel in it. You can see how murky that is, and there is actually a puddle in the bottom of it, so there's water in the fuel tank. Let's see what I can do with this carburetor jet. So we want these holes to be fully opened. And this is where this style of carburetor cleaning tool that has these little serrations on it comes in handy. A lot of people say you're wrecking the carburetor because you're enlarging the jets. You're not going at it that hard, you're just cleaning the corrosion off the openings. And these carburetors are set up so lean, even if you did enlarge the jets, these are not the jets, this is just fuel intake. The jet's in the center of it. So, you know, these carburetors are set up lean. If you did wind up opening up the jet a few hundred thousandths of an inch, are you really doing anything bad to this carburetor? Giving it just a slightly increased amount of fuel. There's a little edge in here. I'm going to use the tip of the needle to clean that edge out. It's like a little step. And then I want that cleaning wire to go all the way through. Sometimes you can see it come through that opening right there. Or, I mean, you can see it visible in that opening right there. So that's opening up nicely. I'm going to go to a size up until I can hear the teeth on that needle sort of scraping. So that's a little too big, won't go through, but I can use it to clean that step out. So that's pretty good. We'll hit this with compressed air and hit it with, and clean the bowl out with compressed air. And then blow up through the carburetor and see how the carburetor sounds inside. Okay, after a little bit of cleaning, here is that jet. Be really careful when you clean these to not damage the little paper washer that's on the bottom of them, or the bowl will leak really badly. You can purchase that separately, but it's always better if you don't damage it and don't have to waste money or time waiting for it to show up. Next step is to blow through the bottom of the carburetor with some carburetor cleaner and see how it sounds inside. See if it's clogged. To do this, I'm going to fish the straw of a carburetor cleaner can up into the center sort of tower area, and then move the straw around in small increments until I hit the opening that feeds the carburetor with fuel through the main jet area. Right there. So I can hear inside the carburetor it's moving carburetor cleaner through it, so that jet's probably clear. Doesn't mean the carburetor's any good, but it's just a good initial test. A quick clean out of the bowl. Looks pretty good inside. So we can put this back together. Wiggle the bowl around and sort of twist back and forth until you feel like it's seated on that rubber gasket, so that you don't load the bowl in crooked and then just start tightening the bowl down against the gasket in a way that will tear that rubber O-ring. And you can use your fingertips to get the bowl nut started. Thread it on into the bowl. And again, still check that your bowl is level and seated before you put a wrench on it. And make sure your wrench seats well. And then you're just going to snug it down. And right there. So we'll give it another test run. Again, it won't start on its own and only runs for a few seconds on carburetor cleaner, so we'll take the carburetor off and take a peek. This has an automatic choke that functions based on the heat from the muffler. So I want to first make sure that the choke is fully closing. That's fully closed. As the muffler heats up, the little thermostat that controls this rod right here will push forward and open the choke. So that pivot function is fine, and I already confirmed, but I'll show you. On engines that have been sitting for a long time, you want to make sure that the throttle isn't seized. Otherwise you can fire them up and they'll go to redline and break the connecting rod when they first start up. There's what the carburetor looks like with the choke closed, and as the muffler mounted thermostat opens the choke, it winds up like that. But when the engine's cold, it's spring-loaded to return to make starts easier. The important jet on this carburetor, just like other carburetors, is the idle circuit. That circuit starts right there, and when that gets clogged, the engine won't pull any fuel through the carburetor for initial start and running, even with the assistance of the choke. So since we have access to that area of the carburetor without further disassembly, and the engine will run and can be tested without that air filter base in place, I'm going to clean out that area and then we'll retest. It feels good running a wire through it, so it might be that the jets down inside that turn 90 degrees by the throttle plate are clogged up. Alright, with the carburetor put back together and cleaned inside, I think these passages are all cleaned now. We'll open up. You can see that main jet nozzle in the center of the carburetor standing up right there. We'll blow through this vent here, which will pressurize the bowl, and we'll see if we have fuel movement. That looks great. Let's fire it up and give it a test run as is. It starts nice and it runs good. I adjusted this engine speed adjustment arm right here by moving it in this direction, which puts a little more tension on that spring right there, and that's what adjusts the engine RPM at full throttle, and these always run at full throttle. So we'll put it back together and change the oil, sharpen the blade. I'll order a new wheel for it, and for now, give it a little test run. There's a crankcase vent hose over here on the right that gets connected. We'll get these started into the carburetor by hand before we put a tool on them. And then snug them up. Fuel hose is back in its little retainer. We'll get a new air filter on the way. This one is good enough for now. Alright, one 2009 Troy-Bilt XP lawnmower with 4-speed select speed transmission back alive. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out.